Hello, I'm Lily, and I'll be narrating China's secret constitution, the assembly that created two nations Paifang near the National Great Hall. The National Constituent Assembly was a constituent assembly in China, assembled for drafting the Constitution of the Republic of China. Meetings were convened in November and December 1946 at National Great Hall, Nanjing. Boycotted by Chinese Communist Party (CCP) and its allies, the assembly was joined by Chinese Nationalist Party, or Kuomintang (KMT), Young China Party Youth, and China Democratic Socialist Party (CDSP), with delegates directly or indirectly elected. The constitution drafted by the assembly was considered to have resulted in the issue of two Chinas with distinct constitutions. China's secret constitution details a clandestine process that profoundly shaped the nation's destiny under plans, or fundamentals, of national reconstruction proposed by Sun Yat-sen, later honored as founding father of the Republic of China. The revolution was divided into three stages: military rule, political tutelage, and constitutional government. One of the earliest constitutions of the Republic of China was promulgated by Cao Kun in 1923. Cao's constitution, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. The junta based in Canton, led by Sun from Kuomintang, boycotted the enactment and called for the convocation of National Convention for drafting a new constitution. Following the Beijing coup in 1924 that overthrown Cao's government, Sun accepted the invitation by Feng Yuxiang to convene National Convention. Sun, however, died in 1925 and the convention was abandoned. The will left by Sun before his death includes the convocation of such meetings. Upon the conclusion of Northern Expedition in 1928, one-party rule by the KMT began, and so was the drafting of the new constitution. In 1936, a new constitutional draft, May 5th draft, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter was announced. The authorities decided to convene a National Constituent Assembly in 1937 to adopt the draft, only to be delayed by the Second Sino-Japanese War. The assembly was further delayed to 1946 for various reasons. Planned convocation proponent reason: 12 November 1936 5th National Congress of KMT provincial elections, underway 12 November 1937 3rd plenary session of 5th Central Committee of KMT outbreak of war 12 November 1946 plenary session of 5th Central Committee of KMT delegates in occupation zones unable to attend 12 November 1945 Nationalist Government CCP demanded reforming. Government 5 May 1946 Political Consultative Conference CCP declined to submit list of delegates. 12 November 1946 Supreme Military Commission of Nationalist Government awaits submission of list of delegates by CCP. CDL. Delay of National Constituent Assembly. On 1 January 1946, or the 35th anniversary of the Republic of China, Chiang announced the decision of convening the assembly by the end of the year. After 6 delays, the assembly was finally convened on 15 November 1946, after Young China Party and China Democratic Socialist Party confirmed the attending delegates. China's secret constitution details the complex origins of the People's Republic, and now we'll explore the electoral method. An election was held in 1936 across the nation to elect members of the assembly, except in Japanese-occupied northeast China, which special elections substituted direct elections. The nationalist government invited celebrities unwilling to campaign for the election to the assembly, while members of KMT's Central Committee were designated as ex officio members of the assembly. CCP was unable to participate in the election due to KMT-CCP civil war and could only enter the assembly with party list quota. Tenure of the elected and selected members of the assembly was extended to 1946 due to the delay of the assembly. Following the emergence of this clandestine document, China's secret constitution, we'll now delve into the details of the Political Consultative Conference. After the victory in Sino-Japanese War in 1945, the Chinese government was urged by the public to convene the assembly. KMT and CCP, which by then became a substantial anti-government force, along with China Democratic League, CDL, Young China Party and independents, convened Political Consultative Conference on 10 January 1946 in Chongqing. The conference lasted until 31 January, adopted 12 resolutions including reforming government, amending draft constitution, and convening National Constituent Assembly. A committee on organizing draft constitution was also formed. The membership quota of the National Constituent Assembly was one of the rifts between nationalists and the communists. CCP and CDL demanded disqualifying the members elected in 1936, while KMT insisted the membership was still legitimate and rejected the idea of disqualification for respecting the integrity of the government and the law. Both sides eventually compromised on disqualifying the unelected members of the Assembly, i.e., appointed members in special elections and ex officio members of KMT's Central Committee, and replacing them with party representatives. Resolution on National Assembly by Political Consultative Conference, translation. 1. The National Assembly to be convened on 5 May 1946. 2. The duties of the first session of the National Assembly shall be enacting the Constitution. 3. The adoption of the Constitution shall be agreed by 3/4 of attending members. 4. The membership of 1,200 delegates elected by areas and occupational groups shall be unchanged. 5. Taiwan and Northeast shall be assigned with additional 150 delegates in total for areas and occupational groups. 6. Political parties and dignitaries shall be assigned with additional 700 delegates. Distribution of such shall be in accordance with the Annex terms. 7. The total number of delegates of the National Assembly shall be 2050. 8. Authority for implementing constitutionalism as stipulated by the Constitution shall within 6 months upon promulgation of the Constitution hold elections and convene the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. Annexes. 1. Representatives sent to the National Assembly by the political parties shall uphold the drafted Constitution as amended in the Political Consultative Conference in the National Assembly. 2. Any advice on improving the Constitution draft shall be decided after temporary consultation between the parties. 3. The distribution of additional delegates for political parties and dignitaries is as follows. 1. Nationalist Party 230 members 2, Communist Party 200 members 3, Youth Party 100 members 4, Democratic League 100 members 5, Dignitaries 100 members 4. The Nationalist Party and the Communist Party shall each yield 10 members to the Democratic League. The Qing dynasty's unique system of governance, detailed in China's secret constitution, the assembly that created two nations, laid the groundwork for a devastating conflict. Despite the new constitution draft, conference draft, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, and other important agreements, the relation between the KMT and CCP worsened sharply after KMT's Central Committee meeting in March 1946 due to ideological differences and lack of mutual trust. Conflicts and skirmishes in Northeast broke out a month later. Negotiations between two sides in Chongqing and Nanjing were also near breakdown. Over the membership of reformed coalition government, Communists insisted on assigning 14 members to CCP and CDL out of 40 to secure 1/3 veto power. KMT, in return, only agreed on assigning 13. The standoff prolonged for more than half a year without much progress. The Qing dynasty's legal framework laid the groundwork for a system that would profoundly shape China and Japan-type statutory delegates attending delegates, areas 700 and 7700, and 35 occupational groups 437, 406 special 143, 100, and 42 KMT representatives 220, 200, and 16 CCP representatives 190. 0 CDL representatives 80, 0 CDSP representatives 40, 39 youth representatives 199 dignitaries, 70, 64 total 2050 17 1. The founding of China's secret constitution involved a complex web of political maneuvering and hidden agendas. According to resolution of Political Consultative Conference, the National Constituent Assembly shall be convened on 5 May 1946. Anniversary of Sun's inauguration as Extraordinary Great President, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Nevertheless, it was forced to delay as CCP and CDL declined to submit list of delegates amid stalled negotiations with KMT on reforming the government. The diplomatic mission by George Celsius, Marshall, United States Special Envoy to China to broker peace between two sides also failed. With the aim of ending the party rule as soon as possible, Kuomintang decided to convene unilaterally the National Assembly on 12 November, the birthday of Sun, claiming the communists continued the armed rebellion. The decision was immediately opposed by CCP and CDL, then both decided to boycott the assembly. Youth rested with the decision of participating, while CDSP split with CDL with the internally assigned quota of 40 delegates, hoping CDL would reverse their boycott. The Communists later described the decision of participating in the puppet National Assembly as the touchstone distinguishing whether the party is standing with the people. The video explores the hidden history of China's secret constitution and the assembly that shaped two nations. On 11 October 1946, Chiang Kai-shek, chairman of the nationalist government, ordered the convention of the National Assembly, after strategic town Zhangjiakou was captured from the Communists. Originally planned on 12 November, the assembly was further delayed for 3 days to await delegation list from Youth and CDSP. The assembly opened on 15 November, but then adjourned as CDSP had not submitted the list yet, which only did on 20 November. As the required quorum of 75% was met, the assembly reconvened without CCP and CDL. In addition to 1936 elected members of mainland China, members from Taiwan joined the meeting as Japanese rule ended in 1945. The assembly elected the presidium to rotate the chairmanship, and chose Hung Lanyu as Secretary General, Chen Qishan and Lei Chen as Vice Secretary General. The presidium was elected by a total of 1,446 delegates. Some resigned upon election as indicated by strike-through, and replaced by italicized supplementary members. Members of the presidium are as follows, with votes received bracketed: Chiang Kai-shek, 1,371, Sun Fo 1,246, Bai Chongxi 1,193, Yu Yoren 1,165, Zheng Kai 1,125, Hu Shi 1,099, Wu Taicheng 1,053, Cheng Guofu 1,035, Lai Huang 1,026, 1,020, Cheng Kai 982, Sering Dongrub 958, Wu Yifang 953, 939, Chang Li Sheng 913, Paul Yu Pin 905, Mo Teihui 876, 851, Ku Cheng Kang 844, 844, Lai Zongren 841, Zhang Qun 830, Wu Jingheng 802, Chen Cheng 798, Thubton. Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. 793, Chen Lifu 788, 775, Ametchen Kasim 739, Hu Shuhua 720, H Kung 706, Zhu Jiahua 689, Lin Qingnian, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. 681, He Chengzhen 670, Wang Qiushu 633, Zhang Jai 631, 615, Guo Zhongkai, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. 614, 604, 588, 561, Sun Weiru 558, Liu Hengqing 527, Wang Yunwu 520, 436, 434, Yu Qingtang 427, 425, Ding Weifan 419, Tyne Chungqin 408, Zhu Yongneng. Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 401, Zhu Fuelin. The Qing dynasty's hidden document laid the groundwork for a profound ideological conflict upon entering the National Great Hall. Opposition parties including CDSP and Youth requested replacing the party flag of Kuomintang with national flag, arguing the National Assembly is not party congress. The authorities agreed and therefore took off the party flag. The two parties then declined to take oath of office, claiming the tridemism references in the oath were incompatible with the ideology of their parties, and insisted the importance of freedom of thought. China's secret constitution details the clandestine process by which a revolutionary assembly shaped the destiny of both China and Taiwan. The debate on the constitution draft adopted the 3 readings procedures. Prior to the first reading, some delegates proposed drafting a new constitution by the Legislative Yuan, instead of following the agreed conference draft. The Assembly later decided to deliberate with conference draft as the basis after opposition from the minor parties. On 28 November, Chiang tabled the conference draft in the Assembly for consideration, starting the first reading. A number of nationalist delegates were resentful as they deemed the draft deviated from Sun's 5-power constitution model, therefore reverted the proposal to May 5th draft version within a week. Under CDSP's threat of quitting the assembly, Chiang, also head of Kuomintang, convinced his party colleagues to respect the minor parties. A week later, the draft was reverted to the original version. Most of the amendments were also rejected for breaching the resolution of Political Consultative Conference after the urge from leaders of KMT and CDSP. In total, 104 out of 151 amendments proposed in the first reading were voted down, with 98% of the draft kept from the conference draft. Chiang reaffirmed the hope to establish a parliamentary system in the constitution to shun communists from attacking the constitution as fascism, for empowering the executive and presidency. Second reading began on 21 December immediately after first reading. The draft was gone through clause by clause with details heavily debated. Delegates disputed whether the capital shall be Nanjing or Beijing, eventually resolved with no specific reference in the constitution. It was also argued that Manchu shall enjoy autonomy equal to Mongols and Tibetan, but rejected on basis that Manchu and Han are under one family. Another issue over assigning 1/5 quota to women in the National Assembly was settled by stipulating that number of delegates to be elected by women's organizations shall be prescribed by law. Third reading commenced on 24 December with only minor amendments on the draft. The Constitution of the Republic of China was formally adopted on the other day, along with the implementation timeframe. Both documents were handed to Chiang by Wu Jingheng, chairman of the closing ceremony of the National Assembly. The Assembly and the drafting of the Constitution were thus concluded. According to the timeline, the Constitution shall be promulgated on 1 January 1947 and come into effect on 25 December 1947. The Qing dynasty's hidden rules shaped the destiny of China and Japan, and now we'll explore the profound consequences of this secret assembly. Following the end of National Constituent Assembly, the nationalist government offered an olive branch towards the communists at 3 occasions in January 1947. CCP insisted on repealing the constitution and restoring to the troop positions, as of January 1946, as the fundamental prerequisites to restart negotiations. In June, CCP was officially banned by the Chinese government, with party leaders including Mao Zedong wanted. With the constitution publicized, the government was reformed 3 months after in line with resolutions of the Political Consultative Conference, ending one-party rule. General election was held in November, with the constitution finally implemented on 25 December 1947. The National Assembly, under the new constitution, was convened on 29 March 1948, receiving the power transferred from the nationalist government. All 5 yuans, branches were convened in May by the president, elected as prescribed by the constitution and the election law, signaling a new stage of constitutionalism. However, due to the outbreak of the Civil War, the constitution would be suspended for the next 43 years, and the government seat would later be transferred to Taipei on 7 December 1949, after the communists took over the mainland. This also led to the imposition of martial law in Taiwan. The original constitution was then reinstated by Li Tenghui on 1 May 1991 and has been amended 7 times. The Kuomintang believed the National Constituent Assembly cannot be further delayed, citing the urgency to end the party rule and return power to the people, and the fact that most of the delegates arrived the capital for the assembly. The Kuomintang further argued the constitution adopted was in line with the principles agreed by all parties including the rebellious communists, and therefore their objection was unjustifiable. The Communist Party, on the other hand, claimed Kuomintang was receiving orders from the United States, and the convocation of the puppet National Assembly was breaching the resolutions agreed in the Political Consultative Conference, as the government was not reformed in advance. The Communists said the National Assembly was to legitimize the Civil War and aid by the United States, and that the adopted fascist constitution restricted human rights and made the presidency into a dictatorship. George Celsius, Marshall, the United States Special Envoy, claimed that the National Assembly has adopted a democratic constitution, which in all major aspects is in accordance with the principles laid down by the All-Party Political Consultative Conference of last January. It is unfortunate that the Communists did not see fit to participate in the Assembly, since the constitution that has been adopted seems to include every major point that they wanted. The Qing dynasty's unique assembly shaped the foundations of both China and Taiwan.